Have you ever wondered who the very first smoker was? Not the first person to light a cigarette, not the first person to smoke a pipe, but the very first human who deliberately breathed smoke into their lungs. Think about it. Smoke usually means one thing: danger. When a forest catches fire, animals don't run toward the smoke. They run away from it. Early humans almost certainly did the same. Smoke burned their eyes, made them cough, and made it hard to breathe. So why would anyone ever choose to inhale it on purpose? It sounds strange. Yet today, people throughout history have intentionally inhaled smoke for ceremonies, medicine, relaxation, and recreation. So where did it all begin? The surprising answer is, we don't know. Archaeologists have never discovered the identity of the first smoker. There are no ancient writings or cave paintings showing the exact moment someone decided to inhale smoke on purpose. Instead, scientists pieced together clues from burned plants, ancient pipes, chemical traces, and archaeological sites. Those clues tell a fascinating story. A story that begins long before tobacco, long before farming, and even before humans understood what smoke really was. It all starts with fire. No one knows exactly when humans first learned to control fire, but once they did, everything changed. Fire kept predators away. It provided warmth during freezing nights. It allowed people to cook food, and every evening, families gathered around glowing campfires. For the first time, smoke became part of everyday life. Night after night, people sat beside fires as smoke drifted across their faces. Most of the time, it was simply unavoidable. But occasionally, something unexpected happened. A different plant would fall into the flames. Instead of smelling like ordinary wood, it released a strange new aroma, sometimes sweet, sometimes bitter, sometimes surprisingly pleasant. People noticed, and humans have always been curious. Someone probably wondered, what happens if we burn that plant again? That small question may have started thousands of years of experimentation. As generations passed, people learned that different plants behaved differently when burned. Some produced thick, choking smoke. Others filled the air with pleasant scents. Some even seemed to keep insects away. Without realizing it, early humans were building knowledge through observation. Every campfire became a classroom. Over time, fire became more than a tool for survival. It became the center of ceremonies, celebrations, healing, and burial rituals. Across different parts of the world, people discovered aromatic plants that produced fragrant smoke. Some believed the smoke carried prayers to the sky. Others believed it cleansed places or protected people from harmful spirits. Scientists have found evidence that many ancient cultures burned plants such as sage, cedar, juniper, and sweetgrasses for ceremonial purposes. But burning fragrant plants isn't the same as intentionally inhaling the smoke. That next step is far more mysterious. Because smoke stings your eyes. It burns your throat. It makes you cough. Everything about your body tells you to move away. So why ignore those warnings? The answer may lie in humanity's oldest habit: experimentation. Long before modern medicine, people searched nature for anything that could help relieve pain or illness. They experimented with leaves, roots, seeds, flowers, and bark. Sometimes they discovered useful remedies. Sometimes they made dangerous mistakes. Scientists believe smoke may have become part of that process. Imagine someone placing medicinal herbs onto a fire. As the smoke rises, a nearby person breathes it in. Perhaps their blocked nose feels clearer. Maybe their cough eases for a short time. or perhaps the strong aroma simply helps them relax. Whether the effect was real or only temporary, people remembered it. Curiosity took over once again. Instead of avoiding the smoke, some people leaned a little closer. Eventually, someone may have intentionally inhaled it to see what happened. Scientists can't say exactly when, where, or who first did this. That moment has been lost to history, but archaeology suggests that many ancient cultures eventually developed rituals involving the intentional inhalation of smoke, not for entertainment, but for healing, ceremonies, and spiritual beliefs. For those people, smoke wasn't just smoke. It was something meaningful, something powerful. And eventually, one particular plant would change history forever. That plant was tobacco. For most of human history, people outside the Americas had never seen it. Long before Europeans crossed the Atlantic, many indigenous peoples in North and South America had been growing and using tobacco for centuries. But they didn't always use it the way people do today. In many communities, tobacco was considered sacred. It was used during ceremonies, healing rituals, important agreements, and spiritual practices. It wasn't simply an everyday habit. It carried deep cultural meaning. What made tobacco different was a natural chemical found in its leaves called nicotine. When tobacco smoke is inhaled, nicotine reaches the brain within seconds. It can make people feel more alert, more relaxed, or create a brief sense of pleasure. The people who first used tobacco had no idea what nicotine was. They simply knew the plant produced noticeable effects. Then, history took an unexpected turn. In 1492, Europeans arrived in the Americas and encountered tobacco for the first time. They watched indigenous peoples smoking dried tobacco leaves through pipes and using the plant during ceremonies. Many Europeans were fascinated, others were confused, but before long, explorers carried tobacco seeds and dried leaves back across the Atlantic. What began as a curiosity quickly spread across Europe and then to the rest of the world. Farmers began growing tobacco on a massive scale. Merchants traded it across continents. Within just a few centuries, a plant once used mainly in sacred traditions had become one of the world's most valuable crops. Smoking changed too. It moved from ceremonies into everyday life. People smoked pipes, then cigars, and eventually manufactured cigarettes. Today, scientists understand something those early users never could. Nicotine stimulates the brain's reward system by triggering the release of dopamine, a chemical involved in motivation and pleasure. Over time, the brain can begin to expect nicotine, making it difficult for many people to quit. Modern research has also shown that smoking tobacco greatly increases the risk of serious diseases, including lung cancer, heart disease, and stroke. The first people to use tobacco couldn't have known any of this. They were simply exploring the natural world around them. So, who was the first human to intentionally inhale smoke? We'll probably never know. Their name has disappeared from history. No record tells us where they lived or what they were thinking. But their curiosity left behind a legacy that changed the world. The story of smoking isn't really about one person. It's about a trait that has shaped humanity from the very beginning. Curiosity. It's the same curiosity that led humans to master fire, cook food, build boats, cross oceans, and explore the unknown. Sometimes curiosity led to incredible discoveries. Sometimes it led to costly mistakes. Smoking became both. It played important roles in some cultures and traditions, yet it also became a habit that modern science has shown can have serious health consequences. That makes its history one of the most fascinating and most complex stories in human civilization. So the next time you see smoke rising into the sky, remember, long before factories, long before cities, and long before written history, one curious human looked at the smoke from a fire and wondered, what happens if I breathe it in? That simple question may have started one of the longest and most remarkable stories in human history. If you enjoyed this journey into our ancient past, let me know in the comments. What ancient mystery should we explore next? And if you're curious about the hidden stories behind everyday human habits, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.